Hey everyone, it's Jonathan here, founder of Driving Academy, and today we got a special treat for you. We're going to show you exactly how to do an in-cab inspection and an air brake test for a CDL Class A vehicle. If your goal is to get a CDL license, you must be able to master this for your CDL road test if you want to pass. Because if you don't, and you miss one of these things that we're going to be talking about in this video, it can mean that you fail this test and you got to start all over again. So if you just want to come to the best CDL school in the country after watching this video, check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com. Find a location near you, and we can give you the hands-on training that you need, plus this word-for-word script so you know exactly what to say. I might not be saying everything 100% on this video because it's for free, but if you do follow it all the way through, you should be able to pass this test, no problem. And this is going to be for the strictest states out there. So if you're able to do it as we train you, no matter where you take the test in the country, you're going to be able to walk away with your CDL license. So what are you waiting for? Let's get started, and let's show you how to do an in-cab inspection, air brake test on a CDL Class A vehicle. All right, so now that we're actually inside the truck, you have to understand what is an actual air brake test, also known as cab check engine start. So the air brake test is like an inside inspection where we're going to be inspecting the inside of the cabin, but we're also checking the air brake system. Now, this truck and most trucks out there actually run on air brakes. And this is a test that must be done every single day before we actually get started, because ultimately we're going to be checking for leaks in the air brake system. And what happens, worst case scenario, if there is a leak and you don't know about it, you can be driving on the road and all of a sudden there's an air leak in your air brake system, and all of a sudden the brakes will lock up on you and you can no longer move forward at all. So it's much better to solve that problem and find out that problem now before you're actually on the road in the middle of a highway in a place you don't know, and now all of a sudden your brakes lock up, because when there's no air in your system, that means your brakes are locked and you cannot move. And that's the main thing to understand. Now we're going to show you a step-by-step guide on how to do it properly for the road test itself, but you should also be doing this as a professional driver every single day to make sure you're catching things when they're small. So it's going to make your life a lot easier, and you can make a lot more money that way too. All right, so this is going to be a checklist that you're going to actually get if you're a student here at Driving Academy during your training. So during the road test itself, you're not allowed to use the checklist, but it's great for training so you can actually get the repetitions that you need to get. So without any further ado, let's get started. Step number one is going to be performing a safe start, which means making sure that you're able to safely start this vehicle. That's a three-step process. Step number one, turn the key onto the on position. And when you actually turn the key to the on position, not the engine on, it's going to make sure that all the gauges on the dashboard start working and all electronics start working as well. From there, then the goal is to make sure your vehicle is in neutral. We are an automatic vehicle, so it's very easy to see that we are neutral now. If we were in a manual transmission vehicle, then we would want to make sure you're checking the shifter to make sure you are in neutral. From there, we're going to be checking our parking brakes, which is right over here. Making sure that these parking brakes are actually applied, which means they are pulled out. And these both parking brakes are pulled out, so we're good to go there. Now, the last step that we actually have to do is turn the engine all the way on. So now that the engine is on, our goal is to build up the air pressure to 120 to 140 psi. So on our dashboard right over here, you're able to see these are two air tanks that we have with two different air gauges. Now, if we want to raise this air pressure up faster, what we can actually do is give it a little bit of gas. Now, when you're giving it gas, the RPM meters are going to rise. You never want to go higher than 1500 RPMs, because anything higher than that, you're just wasting fuel and you're not cool there. Now, the one thing to understand here, what we're checking, is we have a piece inside the engine called a compressor. Now, the air compressor itself has one job, and that's to turn air and push it into the air tanks, right? So at that point, once it reaches a full PSI, which is between 120 to 140 PSI, you're actually going to hear a sneeze coming out of your air tanks, indicating that our air pressure is full on the tanks itself. And that's when we'll be able to start the actual air brake test. Now, pretty much what we're testing here is the ability to make sure that these things are growing, and they are, as you guys can see, and the air signal is going to start popping, and we'll wait for the actual sneeze to happen. Now, for the test itself, you want to make sure that you do not skip this part, because if you do, you could fail right away. So we're going to keep going. We're almost full. I'm going to give it some gas to raise it up. Well, we are ramping up. We're getting closer to 140 on this tank, and what you guys just heard was the actual air tank sneeze, which means it is full, and it sneezed around 130 to 140 psi. So now that we heard the sneeze, it's now time to turn the engine off and then turn the key to the on position. Now, we want the key to the on position, and that's super important because that's going to show us our dashboard is working properly, so we're able to continue on with the test. A lot of people forget to turn that key back to the on position, and what do you think is going to happen to them? they're going to fail. So don't fail. Don't forget the key. Very, very important. So now, the next step is going to be pushing in the air brakes. So what we're actually doing when we push in the air brakes is we're actually moving the air from our air tanks and filling up all the lines when it comes to our air brake system itself. So let's push those in and let's see exactly what happens to the dashboard. So we're going to push in the yellow brake first, which is the tractor, and then the red brake second, which is the trailer. So at this point, all of the vehicle is now getting filled with air. And as you can see, our air gauges are actually dropping because the air left the tank and is now filling up everything. At this point, we're then going to push our foot on the brake, and now we're going to wait 1 minute. And after these air gauges have stabilized, we cannot lose more than 4 psi in 1 minute time. Now 1 minute actually means 1 minute for the test itself. We're not going to have you wait a whole minute on this actual video, but the main thing to understand is if you're in a Class A vehicle, put your foot on the brake, wait 1 minute, can't lose more than 4 psi for that 1 minute. Take out your phone if you want for the stopwatch, but you must wait that full minute for the test itself. All right, so now we're going to assume the minute has passed. Our air pressure did not drop more than 4 psi. So we are good to go on this test itself. So now that we waited the 1 minute and we did not lose more than 4 psi, that means we're good to go to the next step, which is checking the low air warning signal or light that's going to pop on. So pretty much what we're going to be doing here is making sure that the truck is warning us when the air pressure is getting low. What we're going to tell the examiner is, okay, I'm going to pump on my brakes until before 55 psi, the low air warning light and buzzer will come on. And as you can see right there, the low air warning light and buzzer has come on before 55 psi, which means that is good. If you notice, every time I pump my brakes, we are going to lose some air pressure. And just to kind of give you an insight, if we forgot to turn the key on, no low warning air buzzer will actually be on, which means that's why you would fail the test. So make sure that key is on before you even start this section itself, so there is no reason why you will fail this part of the test. Now that the low air warning light and buzzer is working correctly, now it's time to move on to the next one, which is going to be making sure that the parking brakes will pop out. So we're going to keep pumping the brakes between 20 and 45 psi, and both these parking brakes should be able to pop out. So we're going to look at these parking brakes right over here, and we're going to see between 20 and 45 psi that both these parking brakes should pop out. So I'm going to keep pumping even faster, and the red one popped out and the yellow one just popped out right after it. It's very, very important that you keep pumping those brakes until both brakes do pop out and you do not touch it at all, because if you touch it, again, you fail. So that pretty much completes the actual air brake test, but this test must continue with an in-cab inspection, so let's show you exactly what that looks like. All right, so now we're going to do what's called an in-cab inspection. So we're going to ask the examiner, okay, now I'd like to do an in-cab inspection, and you're going to do another safe start. So we're going to make sure both parking brakes are pulled out, we're neutral, the key's already in the on position. So now we're just going to turn the engine actually on. Now we're turning the engine on for the air pressure to start building again, and while the air pressure is building, it is now time to actually do the in-cab inspection itself. So it does not matter what order you actually go into when it comes to this in-cab inspection. You can do it in any order that you want. You just want to make sure you're hitting all of these points. So one of the first things I like to talk about is going to be on the actual dash itself. So I'm going to be turning on my left turn signal, as you can see, is right over there. My right turn signal is working properly. My four-way flashers are going to be working properly, which is going to be this button right here. Both four-way flashers are working. From here, I'm then going to be checking my windshield. My windshield seems to be clean, clear of obstructions, not cracked, and no illegal stickers. My windshield wiper arms and blades are operating smoothly, and rubber is in good condition. Next thing I'm going to check is going to be my mirror. So I have my driver's side mirror right over here. I got my passenger side mirror right over there. They're all to my view, so everything seems to be working okay. From here, I'm then going to turn on the heater and defroster. So I'm going to turn on the heat and defrost, and I'm going to be checking to make sure that I feel the defrost air, which I do. And underneath, I'm going to make sure that I feel the heat as well. So that all seems to be working properly. Now we're going to shut that off so we don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So now I'm going to check my horns. My electric horns work properly, and my air horns work properly. Next, I'm going to be checking my emergency equipment. So I'm going to be checking my 3 reflective triangles, which is underneath my passenger seat, my 6 spare fuses, which is right over here inside this box. I'm also going to be checking my fully charged fire extinguisher. It is secure. The pin is in there and is fully charged itself, which is underneath my driver's seat right over here. All right, so that pretty much completes my in-cab inspection. Everything seems to be good. Now I'm going to be checking the power of my brakes itself. So this is what we call the tug test. So on the tug test, I'm going to put the vehicle into drive. I'm then going to push in one of the brakes. It does not matter which brake you push in. In this case, I'm going to push in the red brake, which is the trailer brake. I'm going to push that in, and pretty much what this is saying is my trailers are released itself, which means those wheels can turn, but my tractor is still engaged because it's pulled out, which means these wheels are locked up. So now that we're in drive, I'm going to give it a little bit of gas, and I should not move. And I'm not moving at all because I feel that tug, right? Because my tractor brakes are working properly. Now I'm going to flip it around. So I'm going to push in the tractor brakes. I'm going to pull out the trailer brakes, which means now the trailer brakes are the only thing really holding me back. The tractor brakes are released. I'm then going to give it a little bit of gas, and I'm not moving at all. Again, because my trailer brakes are actually working properly. From here, I'm then going to check my service brakes. So I'm going to push in both brakes. I'm going to pull up about 5 feet till I get about 5 miles an hour or so. And then as I pull up, I'm then going to slightly hold onto the steering wheel, press on the brake, and the steering wheel did not move side to side, and I want to make sure that the brakes actually stop the vehicle, which means check, check, and check. Once that is done, I'm then going to pull out both my parking brakes itself. I'm going to shut the engine off. Now, after I'm done with this, I'm going to make sure that I'm asking the examiner, I'm going to say, okay, I'm done with my inside inspection and air brake test. Now I would like to do the pre-trip inspection. So the pre-trip inspection is going to be an outside inspection. And if you have not seen already, make sure you check out our latest up-to-date best way to do the pre-trip inspection on the outside on our YouTube channel. Or if you're a student here at Driving Academy, make sure that you get, again, one of these scripts that show you exactly how to do the outside pre-trip inspection. Our mission is to make sure that you get yourself on the road to freedom. In order to do that, you must pass the actual CDL road test. And this is one of the most important parts of that test itself. So rewatch this video over and over again. If you're a student here, ask our instructors a bunch of questions, and we will make sure that you walk away with your CDL license today. We're open up 7 days a week, so what are you waiting for? Go online, check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com, and find the location near you. Thank you very much, and I'll see you soon. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video. If you want to get your CDL license, you know where to go. Check out our website, cdldrivingacademy.com, right over there. And if you like this video, you'll definitely like this video right over here. So make sure you check that out. But before anything else, make sure you subscribe. And I'll see you soon.